And even though it's been more than a year now since Hurricane Harvey hit the coastal bend, many folks affected by it are still trying to work through the insurance maze, specifically if they're having to deal with TWIA, the Texas Windstorm Insurance Association. Rudy Trevino reports many folks in the hardest hit areas are crying foul now over the idea of TWIA getting approval for higher premiums.
We're here to just simply say, you know what? Coastal Bend is still in recovery.
Despite the fact it's been a year, property owners gathered in Aransas Pass to make their voices heard.
Many of our policyholders here are still trying to resolve their unresolved issues with TWIA, and now is not the time to do any kind of rate increase.
What they're proposing of a 10% insurance rate hike is horrendous. One of the reasons is because currently that insurance hike, that money wouldn't come into effect for them. It would start in January. And so I want them to wait until we're in session in January.
Aransas Pass resident Carol Salinas is concerned how TWIA operates.
I just see a disequity. It's not treating everyone in the state of Texas the same as far as insurance goes.
Salinas says she has experienced it firsthand, having lived in different parts of the state, including West and North Texas.
I paid maybe $400 to $500 a year for homeowners insurance. That covered wind, flood, hail, everything. I came down here and I paid about 4 times that for the comparable house.
State Representative Todd Hunter called out misinformation on the recovery stats being publicized.
Mayor Parker said that 95% has been resolved. What is behind me? 95% needs to be fixed behind me. I think we got the percentages wrong. Maybe 95% is yet to be done.
Hunter is against the TWIA proposed increase cap of 10%, adding the legislature could propose a 1% cap when it goes into session in January. Rudy Trevino, 3 News.